ikai khomna na kokthok chari ngasigi technical session sigi moderator gi phambam lang lobi gadaba ikai khomna bada matik charaba respected sir Sri K Radha Kumar Singh retired IAS po stage matada lengkhat pirak laga moderator gi phambam lang si kanbinaba haijari matam asina khoihong na banam maram moiraga ai panelist sing ming asi mathang mathang koktok chage ikai khomda ji panelist sing nasu stage matak ta lengkhat piraga sokri asibo occupy to widaba nolok chari ahan bada Dr. K Indira Kumar Singh heads of department political science GP Women College Dr. Arambam Noni associate professor DMU Dr. Puni Mao retired IFAs KH Silly Anthony faculty Dr. Ambedkar Center of Excellence Manipur University Mr. Mufti Azamuddin Sheikh Islamic scholar and founder IRI Manipur Dr. Gamume Kamai assistant professor Manipur University once again chillaba kayabo tungoi biram laga ngasigi sigumba musuna sinjariba thoram asibu mapung phandaba yade mapung pahan bigani haiduna lengsan birakleba moderator amasung ngasigi panelist sigi damakta once again let's give a big round of applause thank you very much hauzik akoigi dice ta lengkhat pikraba dignitary singi maphamda yamna chamlaba amasung nungsibana yomlaba khudol macha amamam tambagi matamda logjage yaragadi musuna matam lobi aduga masigi khudol sibu tambi nabagi damakta Sanasam Saman Singh finance secretary bu kokachari asuki mating nungai jai ngasigi moderator amadi panelist singna akoina tamjariba chamlaba khudolbo hara hara lokson bibi kinamakta amukhana thagachari hauzik se akoina isai amaga samok tamina se aduna yaragade Manipur University student amasung simben gi thomi singduna ready tobinaba haijari
Hello, check.
Akoi hingminasi akoi hariba ise si mayam puna saminaduna akoi apun bagi saktam amakak sagat pada mayam kusu sobo tulang lobiu.
Asuki matik phajakraba hingminnasi haiba isai tabikhre aigi motadi hingminnakresi haiba posi laktrikada akoina tawgadabam lei hingsi amasung hinghansi ai yaudana hingminnaba yaroi ai kak hingaga mi hinghandragadi hingminnaba kaudi aduna hingsi hingminnasi hingsi hinghansi adugi matungda hingminnasi haiba posi lakse abza ai thamjari. So, university students sing amasung simben kedamakta. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give once again a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Ngasigi technical session sida koi proceed tawrasi. Ako na first session gi compare ay isamak tangkul Nicodemus Mashangvo ay madi ay gi co-compare Teresa Yulela Keishing. Ibani gi compare gi aroiba tanzada lakchari aduna akoina compare tawum matamda Meetei ron amadi English se akoi gi mother tongue natabana soige ngam ki biyar ga so khwai punamak na ngak pigini habse ai thajai technical session gi damakta ikai khumda bada matik charba ngasi gi moderator Sri K Radhakumar retired IAS sir da ngasi gi makha tabagi program sinjari. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Asigi, one day youth convention, not only a convention, it is a youth convention. Youth I see qualifying with words. We have to emphasize youth convention on unity amidst diversity, reimagining Manipur's collective future. Keywords ka laisi emphasis bibham thoe. Unity, diversity, collective future. the reimagining, reassess tawrapagi darkar la'abra. Midi yamdragasu yamna important way na khale we had that formality function in the morning. Me yamda why don't we close up? Kharaga nakshala aga tawse. Koigi Delhi daga meeting sat pada somdagi heto no notice ki lakasi maning de heto changri kari gino hai. Amang da kharaga changjalo. Ujek si tha daga su khundara bu kaino ne. Koi si tha da khundara se tha gi notice daga changjala lai gadau na te tha gi center da changjala gadau. Mi si yam daga su haina basu lai less is more. Less is more. Amna art and culture ki phil si yang na bani less is more. Khajik hai bas ni hena khanghan ba I love you in kwetanta na hai dau sar padi momo no hai pitang yang khanghan gi bado. That is more important, that is more effective. Less is more hai madu gi kaino tu ni khajik lai si adana paitagi best convention si karamba convention oigada gi na khanja bada ina thengna jabada karamba convention sina quite effective oiba convention oigada gi the moderator si list moderator si yaudra moderator si sigren lauraba adu orga di quite effective oiraba convention oidori why they maru ore si shangmali kakthatlu adum adi yani tenmali samjallu tenmali sangdu hallo si yara roi daw mi taruk ni lai si taruk sida ma di ai di ngang ga dong ne na pung ani ngang thok khradi kramai taw ga ge si panelist masad no gi anta ga daw ada moderator si darkar lai taw moderator ki intervention darkar lai taw where the moderator is that maduna quite effective oiba convention ne this applies in respect of seminar also. Panelists, speakers, in the pulse of the audience. I know ngang is turning me from Mams. Mama is a mind to whether I could convey me the Hatter Yawone. Isai Tari Isai Maramda Kang Sarigama Kangba, Z Court Kangba Kanata Yawdi. The Isai Manga Saki was the current Nuai. I see that I'm a higher air. Ngang Basida, I know Ngang is turning Ibra Moshibo. I read the 18th Gigadoba. Shangdo Kadoba Kanogisi, Panelists in the Masama Sana Kanga, where the moderator is that. Adu Magi, convention number ONC. I know a built of Jerry. Other Pantian Tian Bagasi, am Sativa topic Amada, no Machanga Doma, and some talk about the Hambagi. GP Women's College ki mother target art, culture, political and economic status, vis-a-vis inclusive growth ka the culture, everything she madu in relation to inclusive growth ka hi tor matam da di yamna sathi ba posam oi nong man nei na bad pen ga do malak ta ba kaino ne madu bo khoi si mi taruk ni panelist schedule time lagi khoi punga me hena chondhan na la abna khoi organizer sing now sing da tanaraga 15 minutes each minute ranga gi matam sida kaino to biu adu hena effective oina nga sai khoi din suggest to gi bado si pot me am si punchal la aga yamna some corrections modifications were required to toraga larki form daga putho aga mayam da phangan bang amagadi that will be yam ideal of a situation am oini and I cannot tell you aduna I si moderator si siren lobiro uzik panelist si it is left to you now and the first panelist si I kokthok charam ge si Siri Dr. Kumar Singh, HOD, Department of Political Science in GP Women's College on the topic religion, culture, economic and political status, weaving a tapestry of inclusive growth. Hida cannot obiro. Thank you.
Thank you, respected moderator, and my dear esteemed panelists, and all the other respected dignitaries, senior faculty members, retired faculty members, and research scholars of this STEM university. Ngasi one day youth convention asida aibu wafam khara thambinaba kaubirapa. It's my privilege to be part of this one day youth convention. Hauji moderator na haibigi biduni bibiraiba topic si religion, culture, economics, and political status. These issues and topics have been, discussings for about more than 20 and 30 years in the context of Manipur, and is still continuing. So it's a vast area and a vast issues that a layman like me cannot handle all these areas. But I will just try to reflect on certain things which I have in my mind and which I consider the youths of the present generations need to really focus on, because if we really want to meet when we sing Hingmin na si Aikoi, taseng na Aikoi Hingmin na si na hairagadi, Aikoi na Hingmin na basi pamagadi, Puksen seng ni Hingmin na basi pamagadi, Hingmin na basi da lap na bagi wari di yaugde ko, Hingmin na bagi ni ko. Aduda huzik Aikoi gi anchor na su haibi khiba hingmin na basida hingba hana sang ye habado aduna hingba ga loina na hingmin na basit ta seng na pamba targadi Aikoi na masida kari taubatai youth sing na kari lobatai Aikoi na what we can learn from our past experience and past historical events of Manipur. And coming to today's topic, unity amidst diversity, reimagining Manipur's collective future. So, what I feel is that in the first line we have unity of opposites. That is, there is unity at the same time there is diversity. This is the reality, and this is the unity of opposites that we find in the context of Manipur. Of course, we have lot of diversities in terms of cultures, in terms of aspirations, in terms of language, and in terms of religions. But amidst this diversity, we also have a bonding, unifying unity of being Manipuris. And we are bound by the history. We are bound by the cultures, which we are differentiated from the others, the mainland Indian society. And this experience, I hope you all might have experienced when you go out of the northeastern regions of India. And the second part, which is most interesting, is the reimagining Manipur's collective futures. So the use of the word reimagining means there are challenges and issues in the unity and diversity in Manipur, that we need to redefine the very idea of Manipur, and we need to reshape the collective futures of Manipur on the basis of our shared experiences and on the basis of our shared legacy. And that is what I feel. And looking this, the importance of shaping the futures, that is the collective futures of Manipur society, keeping this in mind, I'll just randomly reflect on certain issues that is impacting the Manipur and that history has bestowed to the present generations for resolving the issues. In my humble opinions, the first challenge to the idea of the collective Manipurs that took place in 1819 and 1826 that we call as the 7 years devastations. So economy were devastated, populations were devastated, and Manipur went backwards. Sigi impact si ngasi bokta koi lairi in terms of depopulation da ko, in terms of economic impacts da ngasi bokta madugi legacy koi da lairi. The first major challenge to the existence of Manipur as a sovereign political entity came with the 7 years devastation, 1819 and 1826. I'm not going details into the causes of the 7 years devastations. My point is, the challenges in modern times that we first face as a major challenge to the existence of Manipur, that is 7 years devastation. And the second one is the 1891 Anglo-Manipur War and the subsequent the control of administrations by the British and the subsequent arbitrary divisions of the administrations of hills and valleys, which is completely artificial, which is arbitrary. As Ngasai Koi Gozai Bolna Haibadu Swabigre. In fact, Manipur is a hill state. Technically, Yangbadasu, Manipur is a hill state. Now, out of the 100% Manungda, only 8% you have the Manipur Valley. Adegi, besides that, we have certain smaller valleys like Chochampu towns and Kopum Tampaks and the Sajik Tampak in the Sanjil district, but they all are counted as the part of the hill areas because of the elevated conditions of the technicality of what being called as the hill areas. As Sir Ibohal also mentions that Imphal Valley is approximately 800 meters from the above sea levels. That is the another major blow to the in the process of shaping the stronger and the united Manipur, in my sense. And the third, the very unfortunate incident comes with the mergers of Manipur on 21st September, which was implemented on 15 October 1949. And there is still debate going on the issues surrounding the mergers or the annexations as the debate going on. I'm not going details into that areas. What I feel is that in the process of, the shaping a collective futures of Manipur, the very historical events pose a crucial challenges in terms of limitations to the, the indigenous populations of the Manipur in the process of shaping their own political and economic destiny of the land, which is, very much rooted to the issues, the problems, and to the cultures and the historical legacy of this small state. And as we all know that, during the British time, the powers of the king were very much curtailed. That's where the religions comes into play in the statecraft, particularly during the reign of Suraj Singh Maharaj. So he started, imposing a lot of taxes on the ritual and the spirituality of the people living in the state. Taramani, Chandan Sekhai, Mang Basengbagi, everything, so on and so forth. This is the one way to exercise his, the authority from the political space to the cultural and the spiritual spheres. And I think the first, in my opinions, the first modern attempt to segregate religions and politics. When I say religion and politics, in the statecraft, religion ki kainosi infused taramba potu khara makai lokthorang na bu hona gibagi ahanba episode se I kainogi chinga sessions of the 1938 ki kainosi example loina pijage. And this is the first sessions where the word Hindus were removed from the and converted into Nikhil Manipur Mahasabha, which the historian considered this as the first political party of Manipur. And in my humble opinion, this is the first time after the reign of Maharaja Suraj Singh that in the modern Manipur context, religions was segregated from the politics, and at the same time, divisions of hills and valleys was rejected by claiming that there has to be unity of administrations of both hills and valley, and certain important demands like the release of Rani Gaidinglu. These were met, and I think this paved the way for the reshaping of the first modern Manipur society. But unfortunately, in 1949, the merger agreement was signed, effected, and we became part of India. And very, very unfortunate thing is that this is direct related to the economic impact in our society as well as the administrative impacts of the society. As we all see that before coming into the British rule in Manipur, Manipur was an independent sovereign country, and even during the British rule also we have certain administrators, very able administrators who ruled the states along with the British officers. But what happened in the 1950s, after the mergers of Manipur into the Indian Union, and to the dislike of the people of Manipur, we were converted into the Part C state, and commissioner was at the helm of affairs. So the this period was considered as the fiefdom of the Amidst Singh when he was appointed as the commissioners of the state. Madugi matamdani certain de-indigenization process of the administration as well as the economic functioning in the states took place. Aduna, lots of the Marwaris and lots of the people from the mainland India started thronging into the Khwarman Bazaar. But before that, they need permissions to do business in the markets, but that kind of permit system was revoked, and there seems to be an open door policy. So from that onwards, the psychology of dependency gradually crept into our minds, and today we are fully dependent on the assistance of the central government and as well as the assistance of the products of the mainland India, and which before the 1947 or before the British came to rule in the state, the situation was not the same. We took part in the various economic activities, and we also export a lot of things, and this you can find in the historical data and the records. But the most dangerous thing is the psychology of dependency crop up after the 1950s. And today, the economic relationship between Manipur and the rest of India is that of dependency, where we find this theory in the 1960s in the context of Latin America, where Argentine economists like Paul Travis, they beautifully argue how the third world country is being poor in spite of the various aid from the developed country. And you might have heard about the core periphery kind of relationship. And that is the things. The kind of economic structures we are having in our state is not conducive for the self-reliant economy. And that's where the economic nationalism is very important. And that's where the nationalism over our resources and our products is very important. And the most important thing is that youths, present-day youths, need to have a self-confidence upon themselves, and you should be proud of being Manipuri, and you should be self-confident that you can do something. And what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is not someone who, imports the products from the other part of India and the foreign country and sell here. And that is not the kind of entrepreneurs that we need. We need the entrepreneurs who understand the state. We need the entrepreneur, who can create product, who can manufacture things out of the resources available here, and who can export, who can, make the state a self-reliant economy. And I have heard a very wonderful story about a country which, before very recently unknown to the whole world, and you might have also heard about that country called Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso gido khangedana ko. Aduna 2022 gi mamang da sigi lebak se kanam tana maming taramde, the rotten, the poverty-stricken, hunger, and left out by the Western world. Aduga any moigi massage we cannot do anything except exporting the raw material from these regions. But now suddenly a silent revolution is going on in the Burkina Faso under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, and you might have heard about that. And the first priority he gave was on the food sovereignty. Now he's doing a lot of things on this sphere, and now he's building the roads, the dams for agriculture, and he's manufacturing the processing plants for the cashew nut, which the Faso is the largest producer in Africa and the 10th largest producer in the world. So see kind of the economic revolutions and the kind of the visions, the kind of, the direction which we need in the context of present-day Manipur. And still, we are dependent because from the 1950s, the culture of dependency was created among the minds of the people of Manipur, and for that reason, we still consider we cannot live without the assistance of the central government. And this economic dependency is also created by the narrative like the northeastern region of India is a landlocked and the terrain is, is not good for economic development, so on and so forth. But today, northeastern India has become a center stage. And because of the revolution in the technology, the concept of landlocked and the concept of, the hilly region, the difficult terrain, this has all changed. And Burkina Faso is also a landlocked in the West African countries. And you search in the YouTube and the Googles and also read about the Ibrahim Traoré and what are the works being conducted here in the Burkina Faso to make the country economically self-reliant, how he cuts the dependency, how he trained the mind of the youth, to be confident to themselves. Anyway, sigi amu aikoina that kind of economic dependency is kadaida mu manifestation like da. It reflects on the political space also. Have you ever think that why regional party failed in the state of Manipur? In spite of the strong presence of the regional feelings, and in spite of the so much regional issues which can be solved through the regional party. Now the regional party is completely failed in our state. Why? Because the kind of economic dependency, we have seen in the context of the economy affairs is also reflecting in the political space. So you might have heard of people talking, saying, regional party cannot run, cannot work because the contesting election takes lots of money and we cannot do that, this and that without the support of the central party. So this is a typical and clear reflections of the dependency mindset. So that started from the things started from the economic sphere is currently manifested in the political spheres. So this, the cycle need to be break down, need to break by the youths of Manipur. Aduna, today, ngasidi, it's the age of youths. Anouba juki, anouba asapuduna, laglo naharol, semlesi anouba sangsar haise. It's a very meaningful and very beautiful song, the all-time relevance. Adugi kainoni, ay the youth singda, yam kana trust biningi. Now, society calls for new face in the various spheres, be it in the political spheres, be it in the economic spheres, and with a new visions, with a new determinations, with a new political will to shape a future which is not divided by the narrow ethnic walls, religious bigotry, where we all can feel safe, where we all can be, feel proud of the being Manipuri. Adugi kainoduda, from today onwards, youths of the university, youths of Manipur need to concentrate on these things. Adagi akoina, let me just briefly touch on the political status of the Manipur. As we all know that in the first half of the 20th century, after the 1938 Sinha session, and we have the Second World War in 1939. Before the onset of the Second World War, there was demand for, democratization of polity. That is the popular government in Manipur. But because of the onset of the Second World War, this was postponed, and the demand was resumed after the Second World War. And akoina khange the role of Irabot natana maga chaminaramba ahal sing matamdugi visionary oiraba akoigi forefathers brought from the different parts of Manipur ko, maybe you can say from the valley and from the hills ko adu mayam tuna pulla kanda Manipur semam bani, and they have given us a very secular political framework. And all of us know Matamdugi representations, Lairamiba Kano Singi, there were 18 seats for the hills and 3 for the Muslims, and Adugi 38 for the general, and even there was room for the representation from the professional group also, from the education also. So this is the kind of polity that they had laid down in the late 40s. Aduna ikoina sigi kainoda 48 ki kainoda ikoina June July side election tawre ko aduga 1947 da Manipur Constitution Act habasi ama seme aduga election tawra matungda, and the first inaugural sessions of the Manipur National Assembly or the Manipur Legislative Assembly was held on 18 October 1948 ko adu Hon'ble inaugural session se 18 October 1948 ta koi pangthokibani with the inaugural speech from the constitutional head of the state koi Maharaja Bodachandra Nawanganga kano tawgin. So that means by the time when Manipur entered into merger agreements with the government of India, our political status was very distinctive. We have a constitution, we have an elected representative, and very unfortunately, without consulting the opinions of the members of the assembly who represents the people of the Manipur of that point of time, agreement was signed. And we also know if you read the book written by Mayangvam Anandamohan, he himself was the part of the entourage of the Maharaja Bodhachandra in the Red Land, Shillong. Shillong Lisingamaga Chamapan Nipfumapanana Bengali Mayakti even now English translation also available. Aduda Adu Mayak saying na yaw how the force, deception, duration was used. Aduna, the first things, what I'm trying to say is that the historically Manipuri political status in the entire subcontinent of India, the yamna lemzaninga oiba, yamna awang bathaki adugumba level amadani koina lairamise adubu laibak thibadi masigi recognition PBWda koina 1950 da koisi Chief Commissioner ki fifdam da handarakhiba adugo Part C state oina national security ki angle da frontier ki concept da ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯌꯦꯡꯕꯤꯈꯤꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯥꯝꯗꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ incident mayam as an outcome to this discrimination and the mayamna matamdugi the kind of step motherly treatment aduna maram oro tholakibaduna ngasidi aikoi issues mayamna thallaba adugumba kaino amada manipur amada aikoi lairi but masida aikoina ninghanaba haunade friends fanna harambam lei. Every generation must choose its own mission. Either you betray it or you fulfill it. So what is our mission? What is the mission of the present generations? So we must seriously think about what missions we must have. Adugi mission dudi kaino habada. That's the sheer collective futures of Manipur. If we really believe in the possibility of the sheer collective Manipur, then the youths of the present generation need to put their energy, need to put their knowledge, need to stress their imagination, and we must try to build a very stronger, united and prosperous Manipur on the basis of the justice, equality and fraternity. Masigi wafam kharasi thamjaraga ngasigi youth convention asida aibu aigi thought kitang share tobiona aibu opportunity ma pibiba masigi damakta. I really thank to the organizers, and that is Manipur University Students Unions. Wapam kharasi thamjaraga aikoi yamna critical over time amada aikoi hingini, and we are in a great experimentation phase in our polity, in our economy, and I hope that our talent, our energy will make us to overcome this critical situation that we are facing right now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Nabakumar. Mathanga Aramam Noni. Time frame se khrak conscious wa she.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Sir K. Radhakumar Singh, retired IS. My regards to senior faculty members, colleagues and students. I'll be using the allotted time only. Please remind me if I exceed. Let me focus on the theme. The theme talks about unity and harmony. Unity is the term which is used in the Indian Constitution as well. If you look at the preamble of the Constitution, the very idea of unity is to reflect tolerance and equality. So if we talk about unity in the state of Manipur, we also need to think about the concept of the readiness for tolerance. What we lack is this aspect of, looking into the importance of tolerance, while we all vouch for ethnic identity politics. That's one aspect to understand unity. Unity in that sense cannot be exclusive. Unity in that sense cannot be so exclusive and ethnicized. Therefore, if you remember an important article written by Ernest Renan in 1882, where he defines what is a nation. He says, nation is not to be always based on race, language, or religion, because these are insufficient elements or sources of becoming a nation. Therefore, the idea of unity that we talk here is going to be much more democratic and secular. That's very important for the youths to think about. He also talks about two important elements of nationalism or nationhood, because in the northeastern India or in Manipur, you have got a lot of ethnic mobilizations, claiming to be having nationalist projects. The same projects were also there in India when the British rule was there. So therefore, he talks about one very important element of nationalism, that is spiritual principles. By spiritual principles, Ernest Renan meant shared past, a present, desire to live together, and also having suffered in the historical times. We need to think and retrospect whether we have had such moments in our history. And I am confident to say that we have had such moments in history where we lived together, we shared a lot of things, we shared our economy, we shared our sufferings, and many more. The very idea of unity, therefore, for the youth to understand is to avoid oneself from being trapped in the racial purity or linguistic purity or ethnic purity conceptualization of politics. That's very important for the youth to rethink. When I was an undergraduate student in the middle of 90s, I felt that identity was very important. I felt that identity was very pure. But as time progressed, as I began to understand and research more on the nature of identity politics, I realized that identity is not always such a great enterprise. It can divide people, it can make you fight, it can make you undemocratic, it can make you narrow. Therefore, we have to also understand the ill effects of identity and its politics. It's like consuming antibiotics for our physical requirements, but these antibiotics in the form of identity politics will have its own problems. The other aspect which he talks about is daily plebiscite, where he says that our nationalism, our nation will have to have the readiness to create institutions that can accommodate aspirations of people, and that will make people live together and reduce conflicts. Now, we live in a society where conflicts are so much, and these conflicts are basically emerging out of the failure also to create institutions in a democratic way, one. The second one is that our identity politics has been considered more as a pure project, which is not always so. For instance, without naming any community, we also have seen enough of generic identities like X like an umbrella, within which you need to bring in a lot of identity, which are micro-identities. And if the micro-identities object to the very idea of that rubric, that generic identity, then there is a violence within the umbrella. That is a very, very risky aspect of identity politics. Therefore, we being part of a very multi-ethnic society, we need to understand the loopholes of creating an umbrella and having a project of an umbrella within which we want to bring in all the people. Sometimes you may not be able to accommodate every identity within that rubric or generic umbrella. That's why youths need to think about the romanticization projects of identity, because it has its own problems. Now, as I said, when I was an graduate student, I used to eulogize and romanticize the sanctity of identity as given, as pure, and whatnot. But as I said, time progressed, I began to realize that this is not such a healthy project to be always harped upon. The other aspect is that, identity politics or ethnic politics is also a very well-researched project. I think if you raise this question, why the Northeast India, or why in India there is so much of ethnic conflicts? Ethnic conflict is not only inherent in India's Northeast, but it is almost everywhere in the subcontinent. If you talk about the division of the country in the 1947, it was also somewhat very closely related to the ethnic politics of the Muslims and the Hindus, for instance. But what is the outcome finally? Has the nations progressed in a democratic way? Has it really worked? Has it really prospered? Has it really ensured the civic nationalism? Or has it really downgraded itself to ethnic democracy? If you look at different scholars who have worked on ethnicity, they keep on saying that India is gradually sliding towards ethnic democracy. In some sense, the identities in the Northeast is also basically sliding downward towards ethnic democracy. Therefore, you have so much of homeland politics. And these production of homeland politics is something to be questioned, because whether we need to also ask ourselves whether these homeland politics can really ensure the democratic growth of the civil society and the institutions of democracy. These are the questions I want to put forth to the audience here. I will not really answer, but I have got my ideas on that. But for today, I shall only introduce these questions to the youths to think over in future. When you do research, you need to dissect these concepts and keep yourself aloof from the subjectivity which is ingrained in these ethnic identity politics. For instance, if you're a researcher, you tend to research more as a Meetei, more as a Naga, more as a Kuki, which is going to finally lead into, production of knowledge system which is slightly going to be not so neutral and very, very parochial in its final outcome. So therefore, one has to be careful about the democratization of identity, the democratization of knowledge system, and so on and so forth. Towards the end, what I want to say is that identity politics is interesting. It is very much a reality. For instance, transgender identity, the lesbian identity, for instance, the lower caste identity politics, the class politics, these are all identity politics which has very legitimate epistemological background, knowledge background, but at the same time, identity in terms of group always is not going to result into production of authentic epistemology. That is what, as a university student, we need to be careful about. And I think our identity, understanding of our identity, understanding of ethnicity, therefore, shall be carefully done, because if you go by the writings of Ashutosh Varshney, he keeps on saying that in identity and ethnic politics or ethnic conflicts, there is not going to be any win-win situation. It is even not going to be a zero-sum game. Identity politics to matamda mana mai pakani aina mai thi hogani haibasi phawda leitaba yai. It is going to be lost on both the sides. Therefore, young students can think about these claims of identity politics and its pitfalls. I also want to say something about the hill and the valley. We always assume that hill and the valleys were never interacting. We always claim that hill and the valleys were never related. These are the historical writings produced in the state of Manipur or in the Northeast or in our society today, because these historiographies basically informed by the identity projects that we have created. Now let's talk about our cultural and civilizational growth. State making, for instance, in the valley was very advanced, but state making in the hills were not so advanced because the economy was not creating surplus. If you don't have surplus economy, you will not have institutions to create. But this was not so in the case of the valley of Manipur or in the valley of Assam, for instance. So the valley was creating a lot of surplus, and therefore state making was gradually evolving. But in the hills, there were a lot of wars happening. The agriculture was not really settled. In that sense, the institutions were not so emerging very well. In that sense, one can only argue that the valleys were basically fertile, not only in terms of production, but also in terms of creating institutions. Therefore, you can say that the valleys advanced in some sense, because institutions were historically created before the hills. But this does not mean that the hills were not excluded all the time. There was a gradual expansion of these state-making processes in the valley, because the surplus that was created in the valley was also gradually reaching out to the hills, and hill people were also trying to create such surpluses in their own economy. That is how institutions really grew up in the hills and the valley of a particular area. Now, if that is the case, let me refer quickly to the Article 1 of the Indian Constitution, which says that India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. Because in the Constituent Assembly of India, every state came and participated, and they did not sign any significant covenant or social contract to become part of India. They simply became part of India without signing any treaty and covenant. Therefore, you will not have right to secede, you will not have right to self-determination, you will not have even right to object to the desire of the Union Parliament to alter and create boundaries or new states in the in the state of India. Now, if that is the case, if you talk about Manipur state, if you talk about other princely states, they had a very unique position. If you like or dislike, that's a different matter. But historicity is that the idea and the process in which the Union of India was created basically gave a very, very important position to the state of Manipur, because Manipur did not really come so well under the ambit of what we call Union of States, because Manipur at different stages of its history had to sign or met to sign different treaty relations with the dominion of India. Therefore, the idea that the states did not sign any covenant with the Union is not so really relevant in terms of the legal background that the Union of States in India have historically and constitutionally. I have so many things to say, but let me wind up here by saying that let us democratize our identity conception, let us democratize our movements as a youth, let us not be entangled in the generation of politics which is believing in purity of identities, thereby making you always in confrontation, or they will making you always in keeping you always in conflict with other identities. Let us also democratize our idea of unity. Let us also democratize our idea of integrity. And one very significant problem that the Indian state did was in the northeastern states particularly, was because I have a feeling that the creation of states in the northeast of India, particularly the reorganized states in the northeast in the 60s and the 70s, was basically following ethno-territorial creation of states. That was something which was rejected in the 1956 States Reorganization Act. So therefore, I think the ethno-territorial councils, the ethno-territorial states that is being vouched about in India or in the Northeast has a colonial remnant of dividing people into different subjectivity. Thank you.
Thank you, Nani. We have now Dr. Punimau on the topic Towards a United Front, Navigating Conflicts with Creative Solutions. Dr. Punimau.
Yeah, thank you, Moderator Sri Radhakumar Singh. I should say our enlightened teachers, research scholars, students, people who are assembled here are all enlightened, highly educated, and who can understand what is happening around us. My topic is given Towards a United Front, Navigating Conflicts with Creative Solutions. In this regard, I want to draw the attention of the students, especially who are about to pass out from their courses and who are about to join the mainstream, who are going to mix in the society. For the purpose, the meet is one-day youth convention. I've been given this topic, and what I understand from here is that we must move forward towards a better future. That is a simple layman's understanding of this topic. You know, we live in a society, we live in a state where 34 or 35 odd communities stays together, and we are one of them. It is divided into three main groups. You know about it: Meetei, Nagas, Kukis. We have been living here, existing here together for a long time. But today, unfortunately, we are not united. The topic says, towards a united front. We are not united today, you know it. We have wasted too much time with conflicts with one another. Naga, Kuki, Meitei, Meitei, Naga. We have not come to any kind of understanding. Only time seems to get healed, but it's not healing actually from inside. We have to deal with it. We are struggling. And that has affected everybody, including us, especially the ones who are going to pass out their courses and trying to find a job. You know, because of this crisis, misunderstanding, job creation has been affected. Employment opportunity has been affected. Prospect of establishment of own business has been affected. Even our mindset has become more or less negative. And if this is allowed to continue, we are going to lose all the more. We need this conflict resolved sooner than later. Seeing the youth, educated people here, maybe around 40 of us are here. Because of the circumstances that is happening to us today, my heart really goes out to you, because you are now confident, you are about to take up responsibilities, to find a secure job, to start your own self-employment or to start a livelihood. You want to have a family where children grow up, develop, grow and develop, but not resolving the crisis that we are facing today is really affecting all of us. And the more we delay, the more difficult it is going to be. All parties, including our students, our youths, should understand this. You know, the resolution of the conflict is required, very much required. Coexistence with different communities is required. We cannot isolate ourselves. So far, we have seen that no community, no single community can exist alone. We are interdependent people. We need to live together. For Manipur especially, it is because of the geography. We need communications, we need employment, we need trade, we need exchange of human resources as well as natural resources so that we may live as a people. And there is a requirement to make our state a new Manipur where people feel accepted, which leads to oneness feelings. I don't know whether you have that oneness feeling with you when you see the other community, but we need to have that. We need to build that oneness feeling. Then only that we can feel homely, and we need to create such a situation. You know, in a conflict, no one wants to lose. Everybody wants to win. So since we want to win, we should always explore win-win approach. I win, you also win. The valley people wins, the hill people also should win. But how we can do this, and how it can be negotiated, where is the meeting point, who will bring the conflicting parties together? This is the question before us. We are seeing, as an educated young people today, you cannot just close your eyes and go back home, have food, sleep, get up next morning and go on. You have to have this thought in your hearts, because you are going to live in the society, you are going to lead the society. You know, we understand that there is a requirement for involvement of a neutral party, a third party, who can negotiate, who can help us, especially when we are in conflicting situations. We find it very difficult to find a third party, and the third party involvement never comes up. And today, we are having a conflict in our state. Who is the third party, and who can appoint that third party? We are not able to see that. That is why our conflict that we are facing today has been delayed. You know, we have so many CSOs here, civil society organizations, but who is representing the mindset of the society. We are divided. Everywhere you go, every society, every community is divided. But unless our youths think on this, wake up on this, I think our future will have to really suffer. That is why I wanted our youth should give a thought today, taking the advantage of this convention. Students' body can always take up a role. That is what I want to propose today. Students' body can always take up a role. What role? In pursuing for involvement of a third party. As of now, that is the requirement for us today. The third party, as I said, it is not coming, but student body should pursue us, the concerned people. We can persuade our leaders, our politicians, our elders, and that has to be serious for the sake of our better future. You know, in our society, we need an apex body. The apex body has to take decisions. But so far, we see that the apex bodies are very, very weak. In every community, apex bodies are very weak. Even in the Imphal Valley, the apex body, who is the apex body? What is the apex body? There are so many CSOs, there are about 40 CSOs. I'm telling this flatly, bluntly before you. The students can involve, the youth can involve. Where is the apex body? Who can represent the mindset of the people? Who can represent the pulse of the people and tell the government and tell the central government? But we are all divided. That is why I really want that our students' body should pursue, not just simply involved in partisan politics, not in party systems, but as a person, as a social-minded person. There has to be an apex body, not politically motivated, but it should be socially motivated. And with that kind of a body, we can start. And if we can have an apex body, we can say that we are in the process of healing our land, bringing peace, and trying to, and in the process of setting our people, our state, our confusion right. You know, consolidation of a party is very, very important so that we can bargain our views with the concerned people. Right now, we are trying to bargain with the central government, and we need to give a collective views, not by different kinds of organizations, but a collective view by an apex body. Apex body is like a powerhouse, very powerful. It's going to be very, very powerful. You know, in the hills, we are divided into hills and valley, but we are one. That is why I want to say is that in the hills, at least even if they are weak, they have an apex body. For Nagas, I belong to a Naga. We have a united Naga council. Even cookies, you may like to hear or not, I don't know. They also have a body actually, whether weak or strong. They have a body which can represent the mindset of the people. But here in this valley also, if we have a united council, we can always bring peace. Right now, we are not able to negotiate. With whom we can negotiate? This is the problem, one of the problems that we are facing today. Solving the problem is very, very important. And second, for the sake of better future, every party must decide or agree in principle to understand the stand of the other party. We must be ready to understand the stand of the other party. When we refuse to understand the stand of the other party, the other opponent, there is no meeting place. Our apex body has to decide that they are ready to understand and respect the stand of the other party. And the same party, the community, the party should also understand, based on the present reality, practicability, and always decision has to be based on human aspect, love for one another. To my understanding, this is missing in our society. Wherever we go, the apex body is not able to give us a good solution. And this we have to emphasize, that our apex bodies can meet and discuss, and in that way we can always bring peace. Once the communities decides to settle the disputes, and once the disputes are settled and we coexist, respecting one another and mutually adjusting with one another, there are ample opportunities. Today we are having employment problems. We have to go outside the state in search of jobs because our state is such that employment is not available here. We can create a lot of jobs. You know, our people are one of the best talented few in the Northeast, especially our Valley people. They are one of the most talented. But where has your talent gone? How we have applied it, whether we have applied our talents or not. We are sorry to say that we are not able to apply our talent, which God has given to you, to us. This is a great loss for all of us. We need to do that. For example, if peace returns, if we can negotiate peace, respect one another, and try to live, coexist with one another in harmony. For example, you look at the foothills. The hills and the valley, the meeting point is the foothills. You can develop a lot of things. For example, I'm just telling examples. You see the beautiful landscapes, fertile land. You can develop the landscape, it becomes a tourism spot. You can use the land, it becomes a horticulture resource production unit. You use it. Even habitations, new settlements can come up there. Why we struggle about the Wetlands and Paddy Fields and Wetlands Act? Why we try to struggle here only? Having a peace, good relationship with the hills and the valleys, we can always do miracles. The foothills can be developed. Foothills becomes the production centers, growth centers, infrastructures, schools, tourism, industries. The raw materials coming from the hills can be established. Industries can be established near the foothills. All the resources from the hills will come here. All our expertise available in the valley will get employment around there. Peace is what we need. And with these conflicting situations, we are not able to do anything. We are just concentrating here. And we are not able to grow. The hill people are concentrated in the district headquarters and villages, not able to grow. Even our own people, we need each other. The valley people also need to go to the hills. The hill people need to come to the valley. We need interdependence. That is why I said that there is good future ahead with peace, with adjusting one another, accepting one another, and with having oneness feeling in our hearts. And if we have hatred, violence, and revengeful mindset in our hearts, our future is not going to be good. Love and forgiveness is going to heal our pain, our sorrows. It's going to heal with love and forgiveness. We have to forgive our opponents, and we have to have that attitude with us. And it has to start from you. And for that, in our hearts, we have to cultivate love. We have to nurture that love also in our hearts. In our speaking, love and respect has to come out. In that way, we can feel oneness. You know, a Paka house is constructed. Mine is going to be over, just 2 minutes only. You know, a Paka house is constructed. What is the requirement of a Paka house? Reinforcements, cement, stones. You know, our Imphal people, the Valley people, they are like steel for constructing of a house. They have got all the expertise. They are educated, highly educated, uncomparable with the hill people. They are like steels. But steel alone, can it be used for constructing a house? We need so many other things. We need stone, we need sand. Then the house will come up. Not only sand and stone, we need water and cement. That is the binding material. So I said love and respect is the water and cement. It will make the house compact, strong. The materials are there, but without love and respect, without cement and water, house is not going to stand. We are not going to make a strong house. So taking advantage of this convention, let us cultivate love and respect for one another, hills and valleys. Then we can make a strong house. And we want to live in that, under that strong house called Manipur. Why not? We can prosper, we can develop. We are talented people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mao. Next we have Dr. Silly Anthony.
Respected moderator, I'll take exactly not more than 15 minutes. I never take beyond time. I am very obedient to time. Peace to the people of goodwill. Peace to the people of goodwill. The topic I was given is Youth for Peace, Integrity, and Holistic Development. Empowering the next generation. A very long topic, but within 15 minutes, whether I will be able to complete or not, I'll touch here and there. What is peace? Everybody is crying for peace. Let the peace return to state of Manipur. Crying for more than 2 years since violence took place on 3rd March 2023. But never happened. Why? We are not making our sincere effort. All of us to be blamed. All of us to be blamed. Peace will not come to us on a platter, take it, and you say no. Peace has to come within us, from our hearts, from our mind. You cannot purchase peace with material things, with money, with wealth. It has to come within us. And when simple definition of peace is what? When there is a fear, when there is a danger, when there is stress, when there is tension, no peace. No peace means no development. As simple as that. So for holistic development, first thing which I think we require is peace, number one. Number two is integrity. Integrity nobody likes to hear nowadays. When you talk of honesty, sincerity, moral, ethical values, many of us do not want to listen because we are living in a corrupt society. Corruption does not mean taking bribes, giving money. No. There are so many ways of doing corruption. Delaying, favoritism, nepotism, intentionally avoiding. All these are also parts of corruption. We are living in this society now. So when there is no peace, no integrity, no honesty, no moral ethics, ethical values, then we all compromise. The bridge which is supposed to last for 50 years, collapse in 10 years. What does it mean? We have compromised the quality of the construction because integrity is doubtful. We have diverted the fund for many reasons. Contractor will take another excuse. Government official will take another excuse. Politician will take another excuse. Public will also take another excuse. CSO also will take another excuse. So integrity is the thing which I think nobody likes to listen. If there is peace and there is integrity, automatically there will be holistic development in all aspects: education, employment, industry, road connectivity, tourism, horticulture, agriculture. Everything will automatically fall into line. But now, because our integrity is doubtful, there is no peace in the state, so everything blame each other. And there comes a blame game. So my dear people, young people, see, in India, the youth is defined 15 to 29 years. And 29% of the Indian population is in that age group. And if you say below 35 years down, We have 65% of the population in this country. If you all young people, youth of today, stand up, a man, a woman of principle, never waver, never compromise, then I think things will definitely change. I'm not blaming anybody, but people used to talk in the bazaar, in the tea shop, say, nowadays, many leaders are pocket money leaders. Compromise with few bucks. That's why we are not able to check the quality of the work. Holistic development is not taking place in our state. Why? We are compromised with either you get favoritism, or you get some favor, or you get some in the form of kind or cash. So that's why youths of today need to really get up. Youths of today need to get up today. Youth holds the key to the future. Youth holds the key to the future. Our youth are strength for the nation building, for the state building. Our state is a young state in the context of development. We are developing state only, and we are young people, young state. For that we need young people, because you have the strength, you have the potential, you have the intellectual power, everything is with you. So if you all stand together, irrespective of community, whether Naga, Meetei, Kokizao, Pangan, if you forget all these differences and stand as one body, which is called unity amidst diversity, oneness, feeling of we-ness, we can do wonders. But if there is of differences, we'll break into pieces. And that's why we are not able to restore peace. We are not in the negotiating table. We don't want to talk the truth. There is a whole problem with us now. So youth of today, please, common people, villagers are crying, desperately crying for peace. When the peace will come? So who will take the initiative? The youth has to start. And today when one of the student leaders called me, sir, we are going to have a convention. Topic was wonderful. I said, where is the venue? The court hall. I said, why in court hall? It's too small. Why not in an auditorium? I thought 1,000 people will come, but hardly, not even 100. See, that shows that we do not want peace. We do not want to be a man or woman of integrity. And we do not want to develop. Maybe that is what I would like to conclude today. See, resource person came all the way from far places, but listeners are very few. But in spite of that, let us forget about the number, but the quality. If you can amplify the message which is given by our former speakers, the panelists, I think that will do. So, young people, what is most important of our today's society? We need value education now. Value education, which we need to start from the young age. Then there we'll talk of integrity, we'll talk of ethics, we'll talk of moral values, we'll talk of love each other, we'll talk of honesty. All this will come, but nobody likes to listen. When there is a lesson on values, moral class, nobody likes to listen. When there is a football game, everybody rush. When there is a music show, everybody rush. But when there is something important talks to be given by the elders, from the intellectual, none of the youth, many of the youth do not want to listen. So I hope those who are here, I am very thankful to you for being with us. Don Bosco, the famous educator and a friend of yours, used to say, it is enough for me to know that you are young. It is enough for me to know that you are young. What does it mean? He said, youth are the future of the nation. Youth has a potential. If the youths are not good today, we cannot think of future. If youths are good, you are man and woman of integrity, who can stand for the principle, who can stand for the justice, definitely the state will progress. And peace will come to the state very soon. Politicians will talk, I'm sorry to say, you are recording, but I don't mind. They speak a lot of things. Social activists talk a lot of things. Human activists also talk a lot of things. But why it is not coming peace for such a long period, almost 26 months now? Young people, this is my earnest request to all of you. You need to get up and work. The future depends on what you do today. Empowering the youth for the next generation. This is what it's fitted. This is quoted by Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what you do today. If you want to leave a good legacy for the young generation to come, this is the right time for you to act. This is the right time for you to act and show it to the next generation that what we have done today, that will bear fruit later. And then the fire within the hearts of youth lies the path to a brighter future. That is also quoted by Mahatma Gandhi. The fire within the hearts of youth lies the path to a brighter future. So young people, even political scenario you can change. You can choose the best candidate, most honest, most eligible, most capable candidate. If you are sincere enough, I told you, 65% of the population of this country belongs to the age below 35. But if voting is 18 to 35, 18 and above, still you have almost 30% of the population. 30% is not small. You can change. Why? All people even don't come for voting. They're all enough. Better you go and vote it. So what is the voting percentage? 70 to 75 at the most. So if all 30% go and vote, the political scenario of the state also can change. You can choose the best leader who are capable, who have the moral character, who can stand for justice, who can protect the integrity of the state. So this is what I appeal to all of you. And to conclude, empowering, finally, the final remarks, empowering the next generation. Please develop the concept of live and let live. Live and let live. Let me also live a happy life. Let others also live a happy life. Win-win situation. The former speaker has said. Heal the wounds that created by our elders. It is your duty to heal. You have the medicine with you. You are the best physician. You can heal. Why not? You must also develop the spirit of accommodation. Our brother Meetei is big brother. You should not be too egoistic. You must also try to accommodate your younger brothers. Nagas, Kukis, Pangans. This will bring us a better future. And then we must also develop inclusive policy, inclusive growth, inclusive development. Not one section of people. Now people talk, there is no budget allocation, valley is very high, hills is very low. But let's people not talk. Let's do justice by our action. Create a peaceful atmosphere for the next generation. What you do today, the result will come near future. If you set good example, peaceful atmosphere, honest society, God-fearing society, a society of good character, I'm sure that will be the greatest gift which you can give to the future generation. Create a conducive ground for development. For that, you'll have to bring peace. You'll have to clean the society. Who can do it? The youth can do. So, people of integrity, you must set a role model. The young generation should learn. My brother, my father, my sister, my mother. Then the next generation will be a better generation. So with this, I conclude. Peace be with you.
Thank you. We have Mufti Azimuddin Sheikh.
Hon'ble Muktada ngasigi matim magul lairaba yamna pukling huba thauram one-day youth convention on unity amidst diversity, reimagining Manipur's collective future. Hai bahiram masida Musuna yamna pukling changna Manipur gi lairiba phio masibu yenglaga sinbiriba masigi damakta hanbada musugi chilnau singbu thamoi gi phida thadoklaga ikai khomna ba uchari aingonda pebiriba topic asi faith as a bridge of communal harmony and inclusive development haibani masi yamna philosophical oiba Smain taudana database oiba topic amani adubo aikoi puna makna Manipur gi oiriba hiram thokliba thaudok sing issue sing masi pumna makasi khanglaga nainaraga lairaba ngaktani matam kayada gi aikoi na khanglaga laklaba ngaktani hariba sing asida aikoi da iramdam irai pak asibo nungsibe hanmanbadagira natragana Gyan wat padagira, Kantaba wat padagira, Ikoida, Iwat watpa, Kayama lady, Ikona Udaba Kayama lady. Harry Bassing a Saiko Karigumbo, Hodaba Taragadi, Matam Karagi Manunda, Ikogi Manipurse, Mapuna Dio and Bida Boysano, Atopasingi business hub oikibi. Madam this Hanarkliba Lila, Si Pagina Tre, Koyam no Quishilakle. Harry Bafium Asida Ikogi, Yam no Kudong, Tingai Oribadi. Aikoge Manipur gi laiminariba iraicha sing asigi marakta thokhaidaba thaudok sing thokliba communal harmony asigi mayokta laiba asigi hiram sing asing aikoina khanthagada masing aikoina hana bhap tagadaba asi hauji aikoina atopa topa state sing da satpa matamda Manipuri masa sing si phana haina banatre asi reality nei na haijariba si Nungaitaba tauroisi Manipuri masane hai matamda Northeast gi lakpani Manipuri masane hai matamda phana khanna dre chumna khanna dre ba ekhoi mi ot neiba mokoi masel pangphuta phuna ba adagi mai makai mai pangtha ta thadokna ba lambi sorok pangthingta thingjan ba adagi nupi angang gi izat laitaba izat taudaba state amani haina sumaina launa re ba ado hariba launa riba ase planning amaga loyana sahi kaya gi mamang dagi silakhraba planning adugi falling asi phangli basi kada yo khrai matam da masigi mokhoi gi marketing level se manung da kada yo khrai matam da hojik mioi base hojik yam chawkhat le Google yam na sin nadre hojik chatbot lak liba AI gi lak liba chatbot sing si loin sin nari basi ChatGPT smai tamna Grok Quen DeepSeek lak liba sing si loin sin nei ba hai ba sing si dai khoi sai sa na mutang Manipur se gi matang da isu se gi matang da chatbot sing si gi mokhoi gi magun nama lai aina kari gumbai gi thot to aina hai hanning idu phongdok pa tara gadi mohoi na aina hai hanning idu hairakani aduna tabida akhoi gi normally Manipur gi matang da hanglaga yengsi aduda Meetei oiriba Pangal oiriba Naga oiriba akhoi achum bata libin hana khallaga lairiba sing si gi maram da kari haibno akhoi muktang yang thok seba hariba pungma asigi maram si kari no akhoi gi Manipur asida mihu changle haibasi akhoi mase muktang khangba madi masibu thaja mathau taeba sidai da laiba sing se sidai da laiba state sing se ngalingai matam dagi mamangai thaina mamangai dagi hauraga dumak marakta laiba mi sing ina khunba state sing gi makhoi gi mihu changpham oiba karigumba lairiba mafam asina phajaba chingman laiba adagi pothok sathok yamna laiba mafam oiragadi makhoi gi pukning se aduda muk hela changsil leba sumaina ikhoi Kashmir gi hojik pauba Pakistan amadi India ani makki mihu changlaga mi yeng changaga Kashmir gi marang hauraga lairiba sini Sumai tauroga ikhogi Manipur asida su mokhogi mihu changba kuire ikhoida khanghandabagi wane adu thokliba irang ihau irang kaya asi karisu leiba natte ikhogi lebak asigi ningthawari bra oibiriba Prime Minister Modi ji mahagasi handak ma ikoi kuidna Pahalgam ki thodok aduda arabtagi khudak ta halakribni sumai taudna celebrity kaya gi luhongba macha gi luhongba ina khunlo businessman kaya gi macha nu pinu pa luhongba da yauba ngam libani ngasi phawba ikhogi Manipur da yaurok pangam dri do hari ba pumna mak asida ikhogi Manipuri macha oiriba Meetei pangal sing naga sing lairiba community sing asina pullaga aikona tawriba thabak thorom sing asina karino oifam thokpana karino oiraktribana karino haibase khanthadaba asineba ngasi phawbuda aikoi yum kaya mangkhre ima iben kaya punsi loi khre yum kaya mai chaklaga aikoi lambi sorokta gari kaya mangkhre ihau irang sagatnabadagi hariba asida aikoi gi tongjaba kadaino aikoi gi demand sing adu phanglabara aikoina pamleba shanti adu phanglabara ado hairo punum asi phangde karigino aikhoigi Manipuri masa singda hana thaina mangai da leiramba aikhoina itihas pa matamda itihas ki wari kaya ama pa jai yengjai matamda wari da phangdaba ithil kaya ama hana aikhoigi iramda Manipur sida leiramba aikhoigi ahallaman singna libada Meetei pangal sing naga singi leiriba community sing sigi marakta laiminaramba nungsi chanaba singi wari si tabada atopa Greek philosopher singna iba makhoigi itihas ta phawba uba phangda wari kaya ama aikhoina ta phangeba hari basinga dunga si aikhoina uba phangdreba madu phanglaktaba maramdagi aikhoi sumaina oirakpa taragadi aikhoi se ilai laina dumak aikhoi gumba Manipur pikraba state Spain hari base Undulus hana khangdanamba Spain hari base matamamada makna kari gumba aikhoi gi civil war thoklamdraba kanglup masen gi chayna base leiramdraba dinga si world gi super power se Spain na pai gi dabne manamdi 19th century sida world sida khwaidagi science education ki hiramda chawkhat pasi Spain harba Undulus asine karigi mafam sida Jews Christian Muslim hariba community sing sina yamna nungsi chanana subna tangi chawkhat bagi lambi sita yenglaga makhoi masen marakta chaye chahingna ba aba phawba thokhandana chawkhat bagi lambi di changmin na khiyeba adu matam khargi manungda makhoi da hariba laina si changsilakle communal harmony se wai chaire laikha tare ngase namuk lai ngasi taibangga dum chang manana taibangdagi chang lem phawba lairibasini sumain tawdana aikhoigi Manipur si so atopagi mityeng singda hariba Manipur si karamaina thugai gani haibasi state am hekta thugai badi yaroidana hojik atop topa aikhoigi country mayam ma lairibani hojik ti loina mari leinarabani na hekta hachangja laga hatokpa kapthalaga hatokpa tem khai badi yaroidana adugi tapna manungdagi hodok hanna hotna bane ado aikhoina somda systematic lainarga laibane ba aikoi kari tawgani adu adaina aduna aikhoigi youth singsi bahap ta daba adagi aikhoigi ahallaman singdasu hairi basing ase kupna munna khanthadaba phangdi phangningba nungdi nungsiba aduga aikhoina mi khan bhaitaba aikhoina lakama sida hotnarabasu sida aigumba mi lisingama tholaga soroga sida tholaga aina demand ma tanba hairiba demand asi phanggadra bharat sarkar na ingoda madu pirakadra aikhoigi amang bato igani taloi se habna te tawro se habna te ado aikhoina tawpham khangdaba tanpham khangdaba mai khoida leiriyeba aikhoina ngasi khallaga mihut khallaga aikhoibu lamjinga doribani aikhoibu luchinga doribani haina khalliba mihut singa se masigi si kanano haiba mai khoina khangba ma changi makhoi si kanano haiba makhoida aikhoina khanghando ma changnieba communal harmony hariba se araiba londa yenjang amaneba thonglibasina kanano government sine aikhoibu lengak sason tawriba makhoi se kanno yenjang thongba kangbune chaga doribisina aikhoigi iramdam ima leiba asine hariba yenjang asida kaino asaba thumsu yawi ayak asaba muroksu yawi ayak pathumsu yawi sumain tawdara machu naiba machu yaingang su yawi atop top saru sayang kaya ama yawribani mana masing kaya ama yawi hariba singasi karigumba lengak paiba ensang thonggadoriba makhoisina madi sabani madi hapoi madi yakpani madi nakanda thamko madi ichamda chambani madi saruni lauthoko mana thong hodori si karino sumaina makhoigi ahalo mathau si karino ikhoi pummakse Meetei oisanu Meetei pangal oisanu naga oisanu loina mak asi karino uyan amada phumamda punna hapsan gadabuneba aduga nungsina mana thongba haigedabuneba mahakna nungsina thongli matik ꯍꯥꯞꯆꯜꯂꯒ ꯊꯣꯡꯂꯒ ꯄꯤꯊꯣꯔꯛꯑꯒ ꯏꯔꯝꯗꯝ ꯂꯩꯕꯥꯛ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯆꯥꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯔꯝꯗꯝ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯂꯛꯀꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯆꯧ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯕꯤꯜꯗꯤꯡ ꯏꯟꯁꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯠ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯊꯣꯡ ꯐꯖꯔꯛꯀꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯅꯣꯏ ꯆꯥꯎꯔꯛꯀꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯦꯟꯖꯥꯡ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯚꯥꯞ ꯇꯥꯒꯗꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯕ꯭ꯂꯤꯛꯅ ꯚꯥꯞ ꯇꯥꯒꯗꯕ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯌꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯤꯕ ꯆꯌꯦꯠꯅꯕꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯀꯅꯥꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯨꯔꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯔꯦꯌꯦ ꯌꯨ ꯊꯛꯄ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯔꯦꯌꯦ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯀꯥꯞꯄ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯔꯦꯌꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞꯇꯨꯅꯤꯒꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤꯅꯦꯌꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯡꯕꯨꯗꯨꯅꯦꯌꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ ꯏꯍꯧ ꯁꯥꯒꯠꯂꯒ ꯃꯧ ꯁꯥꯒꯠꯂꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯂꯕ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯊꯥꯔ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯇꯧꯅꯔꯤꯑꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯇꯉꯥꯏ ꯐꯗ꯭ꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯐꯠꯇꯕꯗꯨ ꯃꯨꯊꯠꯄꯗꯨꯅꯤ ꯐꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯦꯟꯁꯥꯡꯗ ꯁꯔꯨ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯌꯦꯟꯁꯥꯡ ꯇꯦꯡꯒꯣꯠꯇꯨꯃ ꯂꯪꯊꯣꯛꯇꯦꯕ ꯁꯔꯨꯗꯨ ꯈꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯌꯥꯗꯕꯗꯨ ꯈꯛꯇꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯪꯊꯣꯛꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯝꯖꯅꯕ ꯄꯔꯥ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯇꯦꯟꯇꯛꯅ ꯉꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯊꯦꯡꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯥꯇꯥ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯏꯟꯀ꯭ꯂꯨꯁꯤꯞ ꯗꯤꯕꯦꯂꯞꯃꯦꯟꯠꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯈꯣꯝꯖꯤꯟꯖꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯅꯪꯉꯔꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯔꯝꯗꯝ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯑꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯃꯦꯁꯦꯖ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯤꯅꯤꯡꯂꯤꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯊꯦꯡꯃꯟꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯀꯨꯏꯃꯟꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯋꯥꯕꯗ ꯈꯥꯡꯂꯒ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯕꯪꯅ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯄꯅ ꯈꯝ ꯊꯦꯡꯈ꯭ꯔꯕ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯐꯝꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯆꯥꯐꯝꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯁꯦ ꯀꯔꯝꯕꯅꯣ ꯌꯨꯝꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯒ ꯀꯅꯥꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯗꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯗꯨꯀꯥꯟ ꯐꯝꯖꯗꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯌꯨꯝꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯉꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯂꯨꯄꯥ 100ꯇꯪ ꯇꯥꯟꯒꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ 500ꯇꯪ ꯇꯥꯜꯂꯨꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯇꯥꯟꯐꯝ ꯂꯩꯇꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯁꯦ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯚꯥꯞ ꯇꯥꯒꯗꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯋꯥꯈꯜ ꯆꯥꯎꯊꯣꯛꯂꯒ ꯂꯩꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯅꯦꯕ ꯐꯤꯕꯝ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯣꯛꯂꯕꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯌꯨꯠꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯨꯗꯦꯟꯠꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯕꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯎꯕ ꯇꯧꯐꯝ ꯈꯪꯗꯗꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯁꯨꯛ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯂꯕ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯦꯛꯅꯣꯂꯣꯖꯤꯒꯤ hiramda oiro digital work to oiro kariyamata leitaba zero gumbaneba aikoi isana dum chauthokchabagi waneba ado hojiksu manipur manung sida kupna thijan matamda fajana yeng matamda professional oiba fajana hiram loina suba masimadi aikoi international level gi thakta bukhatpa yare haiba website ama phawba leiba natte aikoi manipur da sarkar gi government gi leiba du nattabida application maram chaba masaba ngam natte aikoi da aikoi manipur gumlaba asugumlaba tauba yaba kaya ama leikhre basigi inclusive development seda aikoi makhal kaya amani madoi ai boina ina khomjin jabado ai musugi chalnaw singda singnajage do hairiba hiram kaya asi aikoi da wakhan gyal lausing da thokhan driba si kari gino aikoi da lairiba chamam na ba chahing na ba sinene ba ado aikoi da lairiba hojik phibam se sarkar na pamba maleba aikoi sumain sum laiba si manamdi aikoi manipur macha singda single lakpa taraba maitai ga bangal ga nungsinar pa taraba maitai bangal naga lairiba sing sinda nungsi chanar pa taragadi makhoi gi gyal lausing se tasin rakani khomjin nakani makhoi gi gyal lausing sinda tasin khomjin nakragadi aikoi na nandagi manglak leba mangdo phanglaroi haibase makhoi na khanba maleba aduna hanna sumayam nasu haidi hainaba suktawdi tawdaba aikhoigi mihut khanba matam se masidani aikhoini yamna section gadabasi handaki laikriba irang kaya se aigi apikpa wakhal gyan na lamba phangjabada prajagi mikap mirau khol ama phawba yaudana sukna tangi aikhoigi situmpuda gi situmpu pairaga senaraga lairiba aikhoigi itha khanba sing se aikhoigi puril sing se makhoi khaktana irai laina table da phammaga loisan ba yaba adugumlaba mamla amani adugumlaba hiram amani haina khanjai adubu madudagi sangdoraktana hojik praja mayam loina marang haunalle marang kainalle aduna nungsijalaba ireicha sing isilinaw sing aikoi khudimak ase atia amagi makhada laimai asigi matam bakta yamna fajaba hindustan gi chidai da leiba kabo valley na ngajafam oiba manipur iramdam manipur loibi chingna khoida jafam oiba potha jafam oiba yamna fajaba mafam amadani aikoina lairibasi karigumba aikoina mafam asidagi kanaba lauge chaukhot ke haiba taragadi aikoina chahi 5 tang 10 tang aikoigi lairiba maitai pangal naga punamak asina manaraga youth singsina manaraga masi singsi taurasena khaido laga lambi se chatna matamda bharat asida athoi bama mayamna tamjana pham oiba yaba hiram khodimakta adugumlaba state ama aikoi semgat pa yai adubu aikoi semgat pa ngamkhiroi maramdi aikoi gi hojik wakhalon se aikoi khangba ngamdri aikoi da hojik lairiba thokliba se karino haibaso aikoi da khanghandri aduga aikoi na khangbasu pamludeba masi pamludabrina pamdaba ingonda kanana kari khangalakani aduna ngasi gi aigi topic sida kari faith haiba mayaweba faith haiba si karino ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯩꯗꯅ ꯁꯥꯃꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯕꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯁꯥꯃꯨꯁꯦ ꯊꯧꯔꯤ ꯃꯆꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯄꯨꯟꯕꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯃꯥ ꯂꯦꯡꯍꯟꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯩꯗꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯕꯗꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯥꯖꯕꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯄꯨꯗꯣꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯀꯝꯃꯨꯅꯦꯜ ꯍꯥꯔꯃꯣꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯙꯔꯃ ꯖꯥꯠꯀꯤ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯕ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯑꯩ ꯏꯁꯂꯥꯝ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯃꯤꯁꯛ ꯑꯃꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯕ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯜꯂꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯏꯆꯤꯜ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯕ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯜꯂꯦꯕ ꯃꯊꯛ ꯃꯈꯥꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯎꯕ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗꯦꯕ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯈ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯌꯟ ꯀꯥꯡꯕꯨꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯃꯊꯛ ꯃꯈꯥꯅꯤ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯥꯎꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯈꯣꯝꯖꯤꯜꯂꯒ ꯊꯣꯡꯕꯗ ꯈꯨꯠ ꯁꯝꯅꯔꯒ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯤꯡꯕ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯔꯣꯜ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯂꯦꯡ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯆꯤꯡꯈꯥꯏꯅꯔꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯃꯨꯛꯈꯥꯏꯅꯔꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯇꯠꯊꯗꯅꯕꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯖꯔꯣꯜꯁꯦ ꯋꯥꯡꯍꯟꯕ ꯆꯦꯠꯍꯟꯕ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯤꯛꯂꯤꯉꯩ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯁꯥꯃꯨꯗ ꯃꯥ ꯊꯧꯔꯤ ꯃꯆꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯄꯨꯜꯂꯒ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯤꯛꯂꯤꯉꯩ ꯃꯄꯥꯡꯒꯜ ꯁꯣꯜꯂꯤꯉꯩꯗ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯆꯤꯡꯉꯒ ꯊꯥꯗꯠꯅꯕ ꯀꯟꯅ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯊꯥꯗꯠꯄ ꯉꯝꯈꯤꯗꯦ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯜꯂꯣꯟꯗꯨꯗ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯂꯩꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯗꯤ ꯊꯧꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯊꯥꯗꯠꯄ ꯉꯝꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯅ ꯑꯩꯕꯨ ꯄꯨꯜꯂꯤꯕ ꯊꯧꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯊꯥꯗꯠꯄ ꯉꯝꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯜꯂꯒ ꯂꯥꯛꯈꯤꯕ ꯆꯥꯎꯔꯛꯑ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗꯁꯨ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯔꯒ ꯐꯥꯎꯕ ꯌꯦꯡꯂꯨꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯕ ꯆꯥꯎꯔꯛꯑ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯡꯗꯣ ꯂꯦꯡꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯇꯠꯂꯗꯕ ꯊꯧꯔꯤꯗꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤꯗꯨ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯤꯛꯂꯤꯉꯩꯗ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯏꯟꯁꯦꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯊꯥꯖꯍꯜꯂꯛꯈꯤꯕꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯐꯥꯖꯤꯜꯂꯒ ꯊꯝꯃꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯊꯥꯗꯠꯄ ꯉꯝꯕ ꯊꯧꯔꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯅ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯥꯃꯨꯒꯨꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯗꯦꯕ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯀꯤꯍꯜꯂꯒ ꯈꯪꯍꯜꯂꯒ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯋꯥꯔꯜꯁꯤꯗ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔ ꯈꯛꯀꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯅ ꯋꯥꯔꯜ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯄꯨꯝꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯤꯖꯤꯟꯕ ꯇꯟꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯄꯥꯎ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯦꯛ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯀꯤꯕꯅ ꯍꯥꯟꯕꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯇꯨꯖꯨꯡꯕꯅ ꯍꯥꯟꯕꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯃꯠꯇ ꯂꯩꯖꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯅ ꯗꯨꯅꯤꯌꯥꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯆꯧ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯏꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯃꯠꯇ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯗꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯌꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯀꯤꯍꯟꯕꯗ ꯀꯤꯕ ꯅꯝꯊꯕꯗ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ ꯄꯦꯠꯊꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯆꯠꯁꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯀꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯗꯒꯤ ꯏꯖꯔꯦꯜꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯋꯥꯔꯜ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯄꯨꯝꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯀꯤꯍꯜꯂꯝꯃꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯥꯏꯔꯟ ꯗꯣꯝꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯤꯡꯅ ꯂꯩꯌꯦꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯥꯏꯕꯪ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯄꯨꯝꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯎꯠꯂꯝꯃꯤꯕꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕꯗ ꯁꯤ ꯏꯖꯔꯦꯜꯅꯤ ꯁꯥꯇꯤꯟ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ ꯀꯨꯞꯁꯜꯂꯒ ꯊꯝꯈ꯭ꯔꯕꯒꯨꯝꯅꯦꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯎꯍꯜꯂꯝꯃꯤꯁꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯗꯕ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯀꯗꯕ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯔꯥ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯤꯍꯟ ꯈꯪꯍꯜꯂꯒ ꯅꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯔꯨꯇ ꯃꯥꯡꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯗ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯍꯟꯗꯛ ꯏꯀꯨꯏ ꯀꯨꯏꯗꯅ ꯈꯪꯂꯦ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯟꯗꯛꯀꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯝꯂꯤꯕꯗꯨꯒ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯂꯤꯁꯤꯒ 75% ꯆꯥꯡꯗ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯔꯝꯃꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕꯗꯤ ꯔꯤꯌꯦꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯀꯤꯍꯟꯕ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯕꯗꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯔꯗꯤ ꯅꯪꯒꯨꯝꯕꯅ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯔꯕꯗꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯣꯏꯈꯤꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯀꯤꯍꯟ ꯈꯪꯍꯜꯂꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯐꯥꯊꯔꯒ ꯅꯦꯝꯊꯜꯂꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯛ ꯊꯝꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯐꯤꯕꯝ ꯑꯁꯦ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯗ ꯁꯣꯔꯣꯛꯇ ꯑꯦꯖꯨꯀꯦꯁꯟꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣ ꯏꯟꯐ꯭ꯔꯥꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯛꯆꯔꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣ ꯍꯤꯔꯝ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯇ ꯆꯥꯎꯊꯔꯒ ꯁꯣꯠꯊꯔꯒ ꯂꯩꯔꯕ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯥꯡꯅ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯤꯝꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯥꯁꯤꯡ ꯇꯥꯝꯁꯤꯡ ꯅꯩꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯗꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯔꯝꯗꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯕ ꯁꯥꯟꯇꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯆꯠꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯗ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯌꯥꯔꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯆꯥꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯦꯝꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯁꯦꯝꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝ ꯃꯁꯥ ꯃꯊꯟꯇꯅ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯆꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯥꯡꯍꯜꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯃꯨꯁꯨꯅ ꯍꯧꯗꯣꯔꯛꯂꯤꯕ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯨꯠꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯑꯑꯣꯟꯕ ꯇꯥꯏꯕꯪꯄꯥꯟ ꯑꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯑꯣꯟꯕ ꯄꯨꯔꯛꯂꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯞꯅꯇꯪꯒꯤ ꯌꯨꯠ ꯈꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯑꯍꯟꯅ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯇꯥꯛꯄꯅꯤ ꯌꯨꯠꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯗꯨꯗ ꯆꯠꯄꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯍꯟꯁꯤꯡ ꯃꯃꯥꯡ ꯊꯥꯟꯂꯨꯕꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ ꯌꯨꯠꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯍꯧꯕꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯅꯍꯥ ꯄꯥꯈꯪ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯏꯁꯥꯒꯤ ꯊꯋꯥꯏ ꯀꯠꯊꯣꯛꯂꯒ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯕꯁꯨ ꯉꯝꯖꯕ ꯊꯥꯛꯇ ꯀꯠꯊꯣꯛꯂꯒ ꯄꯨꯟꯁꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯈꯣꯝꯖꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯥꯝꯈꯠꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯁꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯪꯁꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯒ꯭ꯔꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯐꯣꯇꯣ ꯀꯥꯞꯅꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯋꯥ ꯈꯔ ꯉꯥꯡꯂꯝꯃꯦ ꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯃꯤꯗꯤꯌꯥꯗ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯇꯣꯛꯑꯁꯦꯕ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯤ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯆꯝꯕ ꯋꯥ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯇꯧꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯁ꯭ꯀꯨꯜ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯤꯡꯈꯠꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯃꯤ ꯂꯨꯍꯣꯡ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯊꯤꯐꯝꯗꯕꯁꯤꯡ ꯊꯤꯕꯤꯔꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯐꯪꯁꯟ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯨꯝꯅꯃꯛꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯐꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯁꯤ ꯀꯟꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯁꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯣ ꯏꯆꯤꯜ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯁꯤꯡ ꯁꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯑꯁꯦ ꯂꯣꯏꯔ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯔꯤ ꯐꯪꯁꯟ ꯂꯣꯏꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯅ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯂꯣꯏꯍꯜꯂꯔꯣꯏꯁꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯑꯉꯝꯕ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯖꯒꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯗ꯭ꯔꯕꯁꯨ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐ꯭ꯔꯦꯟ ꯐꯣꯂꯣꯋꯤꯡ ꯈꯖꯤꯛꯇꯪ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯕꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯖꯩ ꯑꯉꯝꯕ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯖꯒꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯄꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯅꯤꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯏꯆꯤꯜ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯁꯤꯡꯗꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯍꯜ ꯂꯃꯟꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯏꯁꯥꯃꯛꯁꯦ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯤꯉꯩꯗ ꯇꯦꯟꯇꯛꯅ ꯀꯥꯡ ꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯝꯃꯦ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯥꯡꯉꯦ ꯀꯥꯡ ꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯝꯃꯦ ꯏꯒ ꯊꯣꯛꯇꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯡ ꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤꯜꯂꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯆꯩ ꯂꯥꯛꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯟꯖꯥꯗꯨꯗ ꯏꯒ ꯇꯥꯗꯅ ꯍꯜꯂꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯄꯥꯡꯒꯜ ꯃꯆꯥꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯛꯇꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯨꯕꯗ ꯀꯔꯤꯁꯨ ꯍꯩꯔꯛꯂꯣꯏꯗꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯎꯅꯗ꯭ꯔꯦꯕ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯟꯅ ꯈꯜꯂꯛꯄꯒꯨꯝ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯇꯨ ꯀꯥꯔꯟ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯆꯪꯉꯛꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯀꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯀꯤꯕ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯩꯔꯛꯏꯕ ꯃꯥꯍꯣꯜ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯦꯠꯃꯣꯁꯐꯤꯌꯔ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯅꯗꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯇꯥꯏ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯊꯥꯏꯅꯒꯤ ꯏꯄꯥ ꯏꯄꯨꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯐꯨꯡꯒꯥꯗ ꯂꯤꯕ ꯋꯥꯔꯤꯁꯤꯡꯗꯣ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒ ꯄꯥꯡꯒꯟꯒ ꯂꯩꯃꯤꯟꯅꯔꯝꯕ Nagaga Kariga Minaramba, Meetei Minaramba, Adugi Mong, the Muktan Hanjana Honasi, Adugi Matamada, Ikoida, a saying Bob Pangal, me Moibagi Pangal, Lakani, Maduki Pangal, Lakla Matungani, Ikoina, Iramdam Manipur'S, Masakanga Doriba, Iramdam Manipur'S, Hanarliba, Lila, sing as Masakanga Doriba, Lila Masakanga Pavadi, as I Koigi, Manipura, like Pakang, Loy, the Bangaka so, in the Asakan, I quite a Minung Sigi Pirang, of our Sintra, Hibasi, Masi Iragatam Bayabo upon them. Aduna, Aroy Beda, I know Heiser in Base, Musuki Sinau Sing Nangasi, Taubi Tabak Torm Sing as a Hodokliba say, Masiki Sida Manipur, all Manipur Sida Ladiba, I Kogi, Zati Kudimaki Ladiba, missing na, Swazok Piraga, Matiang Panglaga, Hai, but Tabak Sibo Hodokpa, Ikoimas and Hana, Unity, Semasi, Semgat Nabahonaba, Unity si Oidaba Matunda, Ikoikari, Tausino, Hibado, Kupna, Kana, Tanraga, effect Oigaba Monda. Makoida, Makogi Nakonda, Makogi Tamoy, the Changa, the Mong, the Ikoi Tabok Tausi, Aduga Iramdam Manipur'S, Ikui the Bagi, Manung Asida, Hanagi, Mong Aduda, Hen, Chaukotpa, Adom the Purasi, Hibasigalona, I may am the kitchen.
Thank you. Last we have what Dr. Gangmei Kamei.
Ngashigi convention amasung technical session asigi last speaker oi bagi langtak na amadi lay langtak na basi karino haiba matam sida aina ngangadori ba point mayam si tabi na ba kanano hai bagi questions ni. As a psychologist, we used to ask this question very seriously. Therapy to bo matam dasu oza oiba na class ta I nangning ba point mayam amalazaragasu I students later gataragadi I na hining iba point mayam do karishu kana the boy doing therapy to womatam the so I client I patient to na I nangangi ba sakli ba pot mayam masi tabi dragadi effective or doing hypnosis to womatam the so I client to I na piri ba instruction do tabi dragadi hypnosis to bayaro doing Hauzi koina uriba saktam masing ngasai ayuk ngatada hole asi pura full oihibani adubu hauzikti yamna pathakre aduna kona thangda ai ishamak ngangiba ihak se asina listener su oigidra haibagi adugumba langtaknaba ama adum po I haibatai aduna asigi uriba hauzi koina uriba immediate saktam masa ikogi kunai ikogi society da Yamna fazana clearly reflect we have a Ngangbi never expert mayama thorai adubu tabi never me late Taragasu tabak oina pangtok pangamde Ka Nasigi speech asi ay Meetei londa ngangzage hanasu khallaga lakhibani adubu Ngasai khoigi ozai bohalna haiba maina Ikogi audience yamna heterogeneous oitaragadi ay ngangi ba Meetei lon se khangdaba so adum yaudaba adum leramgani haibagi adugumba wakhalon da English to oina ngasi se iraga aigi pukningi oiba waidu English to oina ngasi ngangjage Honorable moderator, dignitaries, respected faculty members, dear students and friends. Good afternoon to all of you. It is a privilege and honor to be here today at this one-day youth convention on unity amidst diversity, reimagining Manipur's collective future, organized by the Manipur University Students' Union, MUSU. I extend my heartfelt appreciation for choosing such a timely, courageous, and a much-needed theme that reflects both the promise and the pain of our time. Today I'll be speaking on the theme Psychosocial Dimensions of Ethnic Identity and Conflict, Cultivating Empathy and Resilience for Communal Harmony. This topic is not just a matter of academic discourse, but a lived reality for many of us here in Manipur. A land that is as beautiful in its diversity as it is complex in its socio-political and psychological fabric. Ethnic identity is not merely about belonging to a group based on race, language, or culture. It is deeply psychological. It shapes our worldview, our values, our sense of pride, and sometimes our sense of fear or threat. It is a multicultural, in a multicultural society like Manipur, with its rich tapestry of Meiteis, Nagas, Kukis, Pangals, and other indigenous and migrant communities, ethnic identity is a central axis around which social life revolves. From a psychosocial perspective, ethnic identity is formed through early socialization, storytelling, ngasai mamang da su haibi ke budumaina ikogi wari da ikogi legends da ikogi myths da embed torga lei. It's already encoded there. If you know the communication theory, it's already embedded in those myths, legends, stories. And we, the younger generations, need to decode what is being conveyed. So, storytelling, shared memory, and collective trauma. It becomes both a source of strength and, if manipulated or misunderstood, a ground for division. For young people in particular, the formation of ethnic identity intersect with issues of self-esteem, belongingness, and purpose. When these developmental needs are unmet, or distorted by conflict narratives, it can result in deep psychological scars and mistrust that are hard to heal. Ekoina sokpa matamda kaigumba khutta kaigumba sokpa matamda I thokpa matamda di numit ama ani ki manungda adum heal tawkigani. Adubu ethnic ki oiba adugumba conflict ama lakpa matam sida thengnakiba chaitheng adudi. It is not physical, it is psychological, and it takes time to heal, which we are seeing in this society today. Let us be clear, conflict, especially ethnic conflict, is not just a political phenomenon. It is also emotional. Aduna ni ngasi ikogi lambi sorokta khajiktang issue ama hek thokpada shaudana asidi asitawgadabani nunga thomnadana maiga thadana society ga asida phabagi khongthang adu thangbra hairaga maning hanbagi khongthang oina uba phangi base. Aduna it is also emotional. It breaks relationships, ruptures social networks, and entrenches fear. Akiba porokpa. The violence may end, but the trauma often remains long after. Children growing up amidst ethnic tensions, hojik sul uri bani angang mayam se. Kuki gi community da chalu ragadi Meitei si asi Meitei hairagadi makoi the negative feeling ama phau grabani. Ikogi Meitei ki community da yengaga su hojik se angang sing da kuki habe matam sida already they have developed that negative psychological framework. It becomes very difficult to change. School ki oza amana hekta change so baya ponte sigise. It takes time. Children growing up amidst ethnic tensions may internalize prejudices before they even understand the cause. Karigi damakta tho ino haiba pau khangdringai da makoi di han khan grabane negative ki potas. Very dangerous. Youth who should be building futures become soldiers of identity wars. The normalization of fear, othering, and retaliation laman khumning bagi ithil lama pok pase impacts not only individuals but entire generations. Studies from conflict zones across the world, from Rwanda to Northern Ireland and even parts of India, showed that unresolved intergroup conflicts often result in equine psychology yam toina season about PTSD or the post-trauma stress disorder and high risk. intergenerational trauma lakpa yai, loss of empathy, minungshi khangaktaba, mi se kanano khangaktaba, reduction in intergroup trust, resist groupthink and identity-based radicalization, masigumba pot mayam masi thorak pa yai. Manipur has witnessed its share of strife. The ethnic tensions we see are not just territorial disputes. They are symptoms of deeper issues, a perceived injustice, historical grievances, and psychosocial wounds that have festered for too long without healing. Tabi ningai leitaba, awaba mayam na di thallaba, phongzu phongdo oba adubu tabi ningai mi leitaba. In such a landscape, empathy is not just an emotional skill, it is a revolutionary act. Empathy means the willingness to see the others not as a threat, but as a fellow human being. It means listening to stories. Ngasi ikoi mayam na conventions asida panelist member mayam amana expert members mayam amana wari wan le thoi se ikoi internalize khangmin na ba mathau tai haibani. In such a landscape, empathy means the willingness to see the others not as a threat, but as a fellow human being. We need to first acknowledge that we are all human beings. Iko is a miyoi ba jati ni iko human being na ba sahana thambataba. We are not a political or religious being first. Rather, we are all human beings. It means listening to stories that are different from our own without immediately judging or validating them. Aina Suraj Singh dasu yam toina haiba psychology dadi masi yam darkar oi khogi vintage points se. Aina podium da ngasi nga asida lepaga ngang ibagi perspective se asiga listeners tari ba sing sigi amasung moderator panelist sing na uri ba magi meeting se amamam loini khenagani. We need to acknowledge these differences. Mi aina hekta hire ga chummi haibasu yaroi. We need to have constructive criticism. Empathy begins with dialogue, not debate. Curiosity, not contempt. Mutual recognition, not mutual suspicion. When young people learn to empathize with other communities, to understand their pain and their dreams, it builds what psychologists call collective resilience, the capacity of a society to withstand division and heal together. Let me emphasize, empathy does not mean erasing our identity. It means holding space for multiple truth. Ikoina yam toina su yam sijinna ba postmodern world sika. Postmodern ki concepts and multiple truths lay haibani. Meetei ne hekta hai raga chummi hagado su leite. Kuki ne hekta hai raga chummi hagado su leite. Thoi ba me tang ahum gi thodok adu achumba karino aranba karino ngasi phaw khangde. Everyone have a different version. Everyone have a different narrative. Media sing na tongan ba fabricated oiba mayam am su sandoi ka. Educational institutions like Manipur University can play a transformative role here. Through inter-community student exchanges, conflict resolution workshops, oral history projects, and safe spaces for dialogue. Aina su yam toina class yam haiba wai amtang ai panjaram ge ekhoi di educational institution ni. We are not a political space. We are here to develop new ideas. Yana da ba point mayam ado pura aga discuss dialogue to minaraga aphaba khunaya ma same si haibagi adugumba space to ni ekhoi education ki space ase. Aduna we invite your narratives. Yana da ba leiraga su yana ba point ama adum laigani. Negotiation table da ngasai ai gi mang na ngang bi ki ba expert karana haibi ki ba do. Negotiations ama leita ragadi outcome ama laigani. Adugi outcome da win-win situation hana ngasai panbi ki se. Negotiations Meetei ga kuki ga tawa matam sida Meetei na pura ngam ki ba nattaba. Meetei na su yana ba kuki na su yana ba ngasai third person third group ama haibi gi dusu aduna su yaba. Mayam na loini yaba point ama leiram gani. Adugi point donu koi mayam na theory se. That is also the reason why we are here today. The youth are uniquely positioned to lead this shift, because unlike older generations, you still have the flexibility of mind and courage of heart. But empathy alone is not enough. We also need resilience, the ability to recover from conflict, to not be consumed by vengeance, and to dream for a shared future even in the shadows of painful past. Ikogi history, ikogi past, talk about tawdok mayam dana, ikogi mangan adosh, mamhan banataba nganhan bagi lambido. Resilience is both personal and collective. Personal resilience involves emotional regulation, critical thinking, and self-awareness, whereas collective resilience involves community solidarity, restorative justice, and institutional support. In the face of ethnic conflict, resilient youth are those who do not fall into the easy trap of blaming or stereotyping entire communities. Instead, they become bridge builders. They speak truth to power, but also speak peace to their peers. Resilience also means being critical of the narratives we inherit. Are we merely repeating what our elders told us? Are we letting media manipulate our fears? Are we questioning divisive ideologies disguised as ethnic pride? Manipur's diversity is not a burden. It is a gift. But it is a gift we must learn how to carry together. Imagine a Manipur where every student learns not only their own history, but also the history of other communities. Young leaders rise not based on how loudly they assert their identity, but on how wisely they negotiate unity. Art, music, and literature becomes tools of healing and celebration rather than instruments of protest alone. Policies are made not from the top down, but from the voices of those most affected, Nupi Angang Singhi, youth ki, and also displaced. This is not naive idealism. Across the world, post-conflict societies have rebuilt themselves by centering psychosocial healing. South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Colombia's Peace Dialogues, Northern Ireland's cross-community programs. These are real examples of how understanding and resilience can overcome long-standing ethnic divides. You, the youth of Manipur, are not just the future, you are the present. You carry within you the power to shape narratives, challenge prejudices, and build a culture of peace. Ask yourself, how can I be more empathetic in my daily interactions? How can I use social media to bridge rather than divide? How can I hold my leaders accountable for justice without becoming hateful? How can I tell stories that include, not exclude? Let us not underestimate the impact of one youth organization, one street play, one viral video, or one honest conversation in a tea shop. Change begins where understanding begins. Let me conclude by saying that unity amidst diversity is not a slogan, it is a process. A painful, beautiful, messy, and notable and noble process. It requires that we confront uncomfortable truths, hold space for complex emotions, and work together even when we disagree. Ethnic identity is important, but it should not become a cage. Conflict may be a chapter in our story, but it should not be the whole book. Let us cultivate empathy, not as a weakness, but as our greatest strength. Let us nurture resilience, not to endure injustice, but to rise above it. Let us strive for harmony, not by erasing our differences, but by honoring them with wisdom and care. Together, let us reimagine Manipur, not just a land of many people, but as a people of one shared land. Thank you. Jai Hind. Tonku the. Manipur imana yai phare.
Organizers have to understand to me that I invite two members, one is from two associations, Manipur University Tribal Students Union, one member, and another from Manipur University Muslim Welfare Association. And you take 3 minutes, two of you. First from Manipur University Tribal Students Union. Welcome.
Honorable dignitaries of the inaugural session, venerable panelists of the technical session, Mushu leaders and organizers, and my dear fellow scholars, as we close this vibrant one-day youth convention on the topic Unity Amidst Diversity, Reimagining Manipur's Collective Future, my heart swells with hope and pride. Today, our mind is filled with so many words of wisdom from as many as 12 speakers from both the sessions. They covered diverse topics starting from ruins as the new beginning, historical organic ideology, symbiosis which is ritually encoded in Singju, not to be trapped within a wheel of traditional ideas but come up with futuristic ideas. The silent emergence of Burkina Faso, mission of every generation to detach the philosophy of racial or linguistic purity, understanding the stain of the other party to create a win-win situation, promotions of live and let live philosophy, youth becoming the soldiers of ethnic wars, collective resilience, or the roles to be played by central universities like Manipur University. Today, we youth from Manipur's hills and valley have united to dream of a brighter and a shared future. We are the heartbeat of Manipur, a land where every tribe, every community, every tradition weaves a tapestry of resilience and beauty. As Khalil Gibran said, you are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. We the youths are those arrows launched by the ancestors, dream soaring toward a Manipur of peace and promise. The scars of May 3, 2023 remind us the cause of division. But we choose to rebuild trust and vision together and empower every community to thrive. This convention has sparked a vision, a Manipur where Mera Hauchongba's spirit of Hill-Valley unity lives daily, where education, not conflict, shapes our future. As the budding scholar, we carried our heritage with pride and a pledge to bridge divides. Besides, I truly believe Mushu is our platform to lead with courage, reject hate, and build peace. And I also truly believe that today's convention has given birth to many more conventions of this sort in the future. Let's live here as change makers, carrying Gibran's call to action. Let's heal, unite, and reimagine Manipur as a beacon of harmony where every voice sings in courage. Thank you all for All your patience together, let's soar as one. Ima Manipur na yai fare.
One from Muslim Welfare Association.
Good evening, esteemed panelists, moderator. As the last speaker before the vote of thanks, I want to first appreciate the outcome of this convention. The theme of this convention, in fact, took shape after brainstorming between MUSU, Manipur University Tribal Students Union, and Manipur University Muslim Welfare Association, of which I am the president. And it is with deep humility and firm conviction that I want to tell you that this assembly we are organizing today is not just assembly of people, but of future possibilities in our state Manipur. Today's theme, Unity Amidst Diversity, not only speaks of our reality, but it also speaks to our moral duty, that is to strengthen our solidarity, not ignoring and silencing our differences, but embracing and dignifying them. We all know Manipur is a land of different faith, different language, different communities. This will remain so in the future as well. What truly matters is not how different we are, but how we live side by side despite these differences, how we mutually respect each other and celebrate the differences, not weaponize them. As students and citizens, we must reimagine our future. A Manipur where every voice is heard without fear, where disagreements exist, but it does not become a source of division, where faith, ethnicity, and identity are not weaponized to create schisms among us, but are celebrated. I also want to emphasize how important such conventions are. Universities are the center for knowledge. We carry the moral and intellectual authority. So the intellectuals, research scholars, professors in every university are very different from the people outside the university campus, who most of the times are driven by narrow political calculations, narrow ethnic and identity-based issues. But in university, we come together as students, put forth our honest and sincere discussions. So I think conventions like this or any other form must frequently happen in our university. And taking the opportunity I have today, I want to request the MUSU office bearers to make this a mandatory annual program so that this repeats every year without fail. See, what happened in Manipur is that instead of the intellectuals in university dictating the people outside, instead of the highly educated people charting the future of Manipur, what we are witnessing today is people who are educated, who are knowledgeable, being intimidated by those people who have very narrow view of history, very short-sighted vision of the future. And this is very unfortunate scenario that we are witnessing in Manipur. So in order to confront this, we have to organize often, bringing people of different knowledge, domains, expertise in events like this very often. And it is very important that such hegemony is broken and our society is led by those people with higher knowledge. And that can happen only when we come together like this very often. And it's very interesting that in Manipur University, many events, many annual events happen, but such intellectual events, which is very important for society like Manipur, does not happen very often. And this is very unfortunate. And I want the MUSU office bearers and all the important stakeholders to recognize this and to bring change. Finally, I want to say that let this day be remembered not only for the insightful speeches that the honorable people, knowledgeable people before me has given, the very good ideas, but let this sow the seeds of unity and oneness and a future full of possibility despite the difficulties and challenges the people of Manipur are facing today. Let the spirit of communal harmony, inclusive development, and youth leadership echo beyond the walls of this hall to every street, every village of Manipur. Finally, let's walk forward together, not as isolated community based on our narrow identities, but a force united in hope and harmony. Thank you.
Let's wind up. This is quite interesting, this convention. Normally in a convention, the principal speakers, then we invite select people from the audience also. There is participation, and at the end of the day we draw some resolutions. But this is today's, let us call it, this is somewhat seminar also, somewhat convention also. And this question answer session is not open to us because some panelists also has already left, and we have only few people. And as I was saying, less is more. And Bernard Shaw, on one occasion he was invited to deliver a speech. Bernard Shaw, being Bernard Shaw, he decided to give it in the open air. And when he was about to begin his speech, it was raining cats and dogs. It was not only raining cats and dogs, it was raining so heavily that it was raining horses and elephants. And everybody left. There was no audience left. The one who was inviting him was standing by him with an umbrella. And there was a poor soul of London Constabulary. Those were the two people. And Bernard Shaw, being Bernard Shaw, he spoke for some 2 hours. And he said, that was the best speech I ever delivered in my life. So this convention also, however small it may look, is going to be some sort of a good thing in future. That is what I hope. Unity in diversity, everybody is talking about it. Everybody is writing about it. Actually, when it becomes a way of life, not a concept, unity in diversity, integrity, when it becomes a way of life, And when it doesn't live at a conceptual level, then we achieve. This is what I do feel. And my young friends, you are living in a crucial stage of history. You can peter out or you can rise here at this moment. You can come up and lead, then you can swim down with the current also. In this connection, I am reminded of John F. Kennedy. He said, think not of what your country can do for you. Think of what you can do for your country. We have seen our panelists, almost all of us were carried away by emotion. At every point of time, we are referring to this 23rd May 2023 and all these things, isn't it? This time, this history gives us that if we can do something, if you can bring about a solution, then this is what Kennedy was praying for, that you can do something for your country, for your state, for your Laikai. Don't think big, think very simple. Begin from a small thing. Think of what you can do for your Laikai. Think of what you can do for your university. Think of what you can do for your state. Think of what you can do for your country. Bring out some solution where this ethnic clash can be solved. Well, young man, you are all, you have a bright future. You are at the prime of your life. Now you are at the university stage. Think seriously. Let us not be carried away by emotion. Let us be very objective. And we have to be very scientific in our approach. What are the problems faced by us? This ethnic class is repeating in this state, in this small state. Kuki Paite classed, Kuki Naga classed, Meetei Pangal classed, now Meetei Kuki classed. Is this the end? We have tried to find a certain solution, a final solution. And we had a theme song, Hingmina Se Ikoi. Hingmina Dragadi is Himinaga Draiko. We have to be very serious. And nobody will come to solve our problem. Everybody is talking that the Prime Minister is not coming to this state. I think his presence here will not solve our problem. It is us, it is we who should solve our problems. He doesn't know us. He doesn't know our history. He doesn't have the cultural background that you and I have. So it is us that should solve the problem. And it is in us, we have the strength in us to solve the problem. This is how do I feel. As a result of, so to say, because I have been fortunate that I could participate in this timely convention. And I hope all of you will enjoy. And my message to you is that conceptual level way of life, we have to live in an educated society. Educated by his bookish knowledge, Public Service Commission bookish knowledge just vomiting on the answer sheet. The mark measure the if he becomes a drunkard, We have to see all those aspects. To be educated, how should I address to my fellow countrymen? How should I walk before my elders? Madugi potunen and lowing as I bookish knowledge kara, magap exemption, magap toraga, and sa sita vomitok topadunatini. We have to be educated citizen. We have tried to become an educated citizen so that we can make Manipur an educated state. Kharsi haragai wine up tonaba cannot toge yam nungae ado say canona high givedo. Such type of convention city organization it is not that no pajanas who what do me see participants secret chauhalaga. Active involvement to Leraga cannot talk down. Ishayam hay and Torogasu Tabi number later Gadi. The Kogi Awaba psychological effect Lakadorim ultimately. Ubidra Fajaru by Karikani. There's no charm in being naked before a blind man. Kaidoruni Aduna Kitang participate to Bayabase, but Tam Kasang organized or Aga. You come to us also. The four side of IFS of Sassia, at least I could patrados or happen a man. Why not? I do a carrot chow, cannot over yam timely way. I do yam fruitful and Mangasai Kranga Mangas had to talk keep another. I don't know, saying no, as I think the higher hard copy when a Losalagana. Madugi do Toraga, Hongdo Aga, Putopanga Magadi, that will be very meaningful. That Ragadi, Sagi, she had talking about that don't call Ranico. Thank you. Thank you.
Yamna nungaizai akhoi loisalakpagi tanjal su yoksalakle aduga loisalakpagi tanjagi akhoi warun thamdringai thagat wahi thamdringai da akhoi Manipur University Student Union musugi site tagi wafam akhoi khara dang thamjage hai ba wafam adudi karino haiba matamda akhoi na ngasi pangthok sariba convention asigi akhoi ngangbiramba akhoi pelele singna SAS person singna ngangbiramba akhoi Yamna Marik Sumlaba Yamna Akogi Quena Kangdaba Yadraba Wahising Asi Aquena Ozasingi Manata Laksaraga Ozasingi paper Aquena Lozaraga Natragasu Aquena Ladiba Aquin Tazariba Akogi record Tozariba Asidagi Loksen Zaraga Aquena Manipur University Student Union Musuna Sovener Ama Fonaba Akoi Warip Lozare Atubada Sovener Amasu Fonzarakani Adugangasi Manipur University Student Union Makatana akogi Manipur Integrity Council, Manipur Legislative Council akogi lehenaba akoina mari lenaba singda akoina demand tawjagani haiba wafam sing asi mayamgi mafamda akogi ning singjari aduga loina nang asigi thagat wahi phongdok pinaba kauksanjage Russell Golmai Social Culture Secretary Musu Ball of Thanks pinaba kochari
Yamna nungai sengna haragadi ngasi musuna sinjaba sigomba one day convention sida mapung fan binaba lakpiriba kwaipung napu ahamde kai khumna bo chari adu loina na akhoi musuna haijaruba matamda harau yaviduna lakpiriba lakpiriba panelists amadi akoi resource person singbusu ikai khumnabu chari sengna hairagadi ngasigi function si hena mapung pharamba yabane adubu akoi gi loisalakpada isai nomai yaudabana maram orakanda mi si khara wale sigi damakta de akoi songi sarda su sigi damakta di ngafinaba musugi site gi su haijari wafam khara si thamjaraga agi vote of thanks ki matang da lakchage ngasi musuna sinjaba function asida hawbadagi loi fawwa mateng pangbiriba akogi media gi chinau singbu aha mangta de kai khumna bochari amadi thagaba fongdokchari loina na musugi site gi haijaro matamda haraw haw lakfiduna ngasi gi tanglaba wakhalon kaya ama wafam kaya ama thambibagi damakta su akogi panelist singbusu ikai khumna bochari amadi thagaba fongdokchari loina na ngasi gi function sibu hena mapung phana gi damakta hawbadagi loi fawwa Library University sigi sinau sing amadi tongan ba lamdagi lakpiduna musugi function sibu mapung phan bivi damakta mayam musikai khumna bochari amadi thagar fa fongdok chari si haraga matang sida gi vote of thanks tinse
Oja Singh amadi mayam gi ayaba yauchalaga ngasi one day youth convention on unity amidst diversity reimagining Manipur collective future haiba akoi ngasigi convention asi matang asida akoi loisan bagi tanja bina mayam ningsingjari